recorded for all of eternity. Um, any good news? Who wants to share?
Yeah, I had a sale completed yesterday. Finally.
All right. Beautiful. I love, I got to tell you, man, I love how you involved your daughter in that. Um, I think that's just awesome. So I know that was a lot of hard work. I know that you were super excited and super happy, and I'm excited for you. And may that be the first of many, many, many closings.
I hope so. I had no choice but to involve her because I'm all by myself this week, so
Yeah.
things are crazy and add everything else in there. It's yeah.
Well, you know what?
So,
Look, I've brought my kids on plenty of appointments. Okay. Uh,
yeah.
and what I found honestly is the more that they view the prospects or the clients view you as like a human,
A human.
right? And a
Yeah.
family person, right? The more that the deeper that relationship gets. And you get to sit there and explain to your daughter, hey, I got some money and I got some money from helping this family get a home. And this is what that means. And, here I've got to, pay a couple of other people out of the money that I earned because they helped and all these kind of things. Right. And like, there's so many lessons to be learned there.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
So
awesome.
we went shopping. We went shopping after we left. But I mean, we were buying the presents for the grands, raising grands, and she got a little something too. But
Awesome. Well, thank you for being a part of that opportunity as well. All
thanks.
right, you guys, who else has got some good news? Nobody?
I'm going to say it's not good news, but I'm going to call it good news.
Let's call it good news.
We're going to call it good news because I'm failing fast and I'm failing often at this point. I've
That's
talked
the
to
best
you
news you can have. All
that,
right, share
it
the
is.
details.
I was traveling and I spent about a good 50% of the trip up to Tennessee on the phone making my calls. I mean, I didn't let the travel time stop me. And I reconnected with some friends, and unfortunately, one had just uh, gotten another realtor, but I could tell she really wanted to work with me. And, I tried to give her the grace to, like, don't worry about it. It's fine. I get it. And she's like, but I promise if I know of anyone, I will tell them to come to you. So I'm going to call that a success.
Yeah, I would absolutely call that a success. Number one, you never know. Not a lot of realtors are not that great. That your client or your friend may grow frustrated with that realtor, and you might get a chance with this one. But I would almost, as crazy as it sounds, I'd almost rather there be somebody that believes in me that didn't give me the opportunity that instead is going to feel guilty to some degree and send me a bunch of business. I'd almost rather have that, right? So
Yeah.
I definitely consider that a win. Great
Yeah.
job. Okay, well, it looks like people have some pre-Thanksgiving some pre-Thanksgiving morning plans. So um, uh, let's focus on the fourth quarter GPS for our smaller group today, and make sure that you guys completely understand why why I created this document and how it can help you and how it can kind of give you basically a summary of um, your business. Okay, so let me just take stock of who's here. Okay, so with the exception of Pam, we pretty much have either people relatively new to the business or relatively new to Keller Williams. Okay, um, so and I think Pam, this is really good because for you as well. So I think of this as kind of like almost like a business reset to some degree. Okay, do you guys want me to pull up? Let me pull up this document so we can go through it together. Ooh, that was a fast share of the screen. Okay, doesn't normally happen that fast. Can y'all see this okay?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. So here's the way I think about this document. Okay, this is you've got things coming at you left and right, right? Ignite, bold, 3612-3, do this charity, this class, this meeting, this Zoom, blah, 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 this script. And you're trying to figure out what the hell am I supposed to be focused on right now? Okay, so for that exact reason, this is why I created this document. Okay. This document is in the Google Drive. It was also included in the Sunday email. It's been included in the Sunday email for months. Okay. So this is basically what I would consider to be like a gut check for your business. Okay. So it follows the format of the 1-3-5, right? Or the GPS, the one goal, the 3 ways you're going to get there, the 3 priorities, and then the 5 strategies. Really, I got a little carried away here, and it's more like the 1-4-8 rather than the 1-3-5, but bear with me, it's a lot of good material, okay? So I started off by saying, I am committed to closing blank units in 2021 so that blank will happen. I am committed to closing 16 homes or 16 units in 2021 so that I can pay off $20,000 worth of debt and buy a new car. Okay, just throwing out ideas here. Basically, what will the money do for your family? Why are we doing this in the first place, right? So if we go back and we try to create, we try to identify the things that are going to move the needle the most, okay, and give us the best shot of hitting that goal, okay, then we need to focus on, I said 3 things initially, and then I was in a mastermind with, I think it was Jan, and she recommended the 4th one, and I completely agreed. So let's go through them all together, okay? And in my opinion, they are in order of importance, okay? In order of priority. Number 1, pipeline creation and appointment holding. Pam, have you ever had a closing in your entire career without first having an appointment?
I wish.
Yeah. It's never happened, you guys. Hey, what's up? Good to see you. You want to hang out? I come in and hang out while I do the class. Look who's here, guys. Come on, show your face.
Morning. Congrats, Brian.
All right. Y'all can still see the screen, right? Just share the screen. Okay. So,
Yes.
so there's never been a closing without first having an appointment. Okay. And what I've always recommended is having a visual of the people that you are in courtship with that will likely buy or sell something in the next 12 months. Okay. And we call that the pipeline. That is not the database. That is a subsection of the database. Okay. So somebody in your database that, let's say a neighbor that has no goals of buying or selling homes in the next year would be in your database, but the neighbor on the other side of the street that wants to sell in 6 months would be in your pipeline. Make sense? So I know Command can do this through opportunities. I'm well aware of that. However, if you're behind in your goals, you're not logging into Command to give you evidence that you're behind in your goals. Okay? Meaning you need to have some form of visual representation that shows you what's going on at all times. Now, it could be as simple as, let's say this is a big white poster board, okay? And you have 4 columns. Let's say the rank of 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay, let's just summarize real quick. And this is all arbitrary. I'm just giving some advice, okay? Giving some suggestions. If you expect them to do business with you in the next 60 days, then they should be ranked at 10. Okay, 60 to 120 days, rank them in 9. 120 days to 180 days, I know it's rough, it's just an estimate. Okay, rank them in 8. And if you expect them to do business between 6 months from now and 1 year from now, make them a 7. You can go to the store and get, I'm trying to see if I have an example of this, but you know those different color Post-it notes or whatever, where you have like the green ones, and the yellow ones, and the pink ones, and the blue ones or whatever. If they're a 10, just make them blue. If they're a 9, make them green, right? No one's judging you based on the artistic content of your sheet here, okay? But create a way to get clarity on it's basically a forecasting tool to help you understand if you're on track or not. So if you intend to close 15 homes next year, but you're currently only in discussions with 3 people that you think may want to buy homes or sell homes next year, you got to get to work, right? So there's a lot of blanks in this document here. So I will create a visual pipeline by, the blanks generally speaking are deadlines. So I will create a visual pipeline by, let's say, December 1st. I will have 3 times the number of people that I expect to close next year on that pipeline. You might say by, I don't know, February 1st. So your main priority between now and that date is build that pipeline up. Make sense? So the next thing we need to do is, should I offer some kind of cool deal? All right, I'll give you guys a cool gig, okay? The first person to send me a colorful pipeline, visual pipeline with at least 15 people on it, I'll give you a lockbox. Straight up give you a lockbox. Fair?
On the whiteboard, Bill, or just this form right here?
Oh, no. You got to get the whiteboard.
Okay.
Okay. Remind me I offered that, okay? Now, you got to know what work is. I know the number of appointments I need to hold monthly, and it is blank, okay? When we did that, had a net $100,000, remember that was 3 appointments a month, okay? So if your goal is to make less than 100 grand, it's at least 3, or at most 3, I should say. If you want to net 200 grand, it's probably around 6, and I can help you create that number. It's in your MREA2 document that the 2 of us share, each of us individually, okay? Next thing, my top 3 lead generation strategies are blank, blank, and blank. Quite honestly, I don't care one bit what they are. I just want you to have clarity on what they are, okay? So I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and they have a really large database, and they have a passion for helping divorcing families. Okay, so that's 2. What's the third? Is it open houses? Is it cold calling? Is it door knocking? Is it networking groups? What else is important that you enjoy doing and that you're willing to commit to a consistent habit on? Okay. The next thing is my lead generation strategy number 1, 2, and 3. What's the success metric, right? How do I know I'm executing on that properly? So if you say, I'm going to get some leads by open houses. So tell me more. What does that mean actually? So that means I'm going to host, let's say, 4 open houses a month with the intention of securing 3 buyer consultations as a result. Something of that nature. Okay. The next thing, obviously lead generation strategy number 2. So lead generation strategy number 2 is, let's just use the divorce thing for a second. I'm going to have a coffee with a divorce attorney once a week for the rest of my career. Okay, add a metric to it that's black and white. Either you did it or you did not do it. Okay, because that's when we're able to check things off the list, then our brain tells us we're productive and we're efficient and we're winning. If we don't even know what's on the list or we don't check it off, then our brain is telling us we're not winning. And when your brain is telling you you're not winning, you don't bring your full capacity to your endeavors. Make sense? All right, section number 2, right? So now we're filling the pipe. Let me go back. So we're filling the pipeline with a focus on holding appointments. Okay, so the next thing we want to focus on is skill and presentation development. Because if you go out and you go talk to a bunch of people with the intention of securing appointments, you got to know what to say on the appointment, right? And you got to know what to say when they say something. So if they say, well, I don't want to pay a full commission, or I'm thinking about interviewing other agents, or I don't know if now's a good time to buy, or I don't know if now's a good time to sell, right? How do you deal with that, right? So do you have a listing presentation that is either created or updated? And are you willing? If the answer is yes, then high fives all around. If the answer is no, then when is that going to happen by? Okay, if you're a full-time, if you're a part-time agent and you don't have an updated listing presentation ready to go, like, if I can be super direct with you, like, how many more days are you going to wait to get that? Like, come on. That's what we do. We list homes. Like, come on, let's focus on that. Okay. Is it, when I mean updated, like, is it relevant to today's world, right? Is there a slide in there, for example, or are you able to discuss with a prospect how you can keep them safe during times of COVID, right? Are you able to verbalize that? Because you know the seller's thinking about it. I got all these people coming in my home. I don't know if they're qualified. They're touching things and leaving COVID at the house, and I'm going to bring my little kid back to the house, and I don't worried about this and I'm worried about that. You know, you gotta come up with a strategy to ease some of those concerns. Does that make sense? That could include virtual open houses, virtual tours, some form of additional pre-qualification when you get questions for showings, all these kind of things, right? Okay, buyer presentation. Oh, by the way, the presentation is not just the collateral. It's not just the, here are the pages that we flip through as we're talking. It's basically the, think of it like a movie, okay? When the director, not the director, when the screenwriter, whatever they call it, screenplay, writes, you know, they write like, this character says this, but you also see, you know, you ever watch like the closed captioning where it's like, the wind blows outside or coughing in the background or something like that, right? I mean, they have figured it out to the T. So have you choreographed your buyer presentation? Have you choreographed your seller presentation? For example, when do you walk the house? Where do you like to sit when it's time to talk business, right? What questions do you ask first? What do you do next? When do you bring out the stats? When do you bring out the comps, right? So I want you to think through this. You got to visualize what that's going to look like so you are prepared and you are practiced. Does that make sense? Lawanda, you look like you
Bill,
want
can I
to.
ask a question, please?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, go ahead.
Um, Ideally, how many pages should be in a buyer and seller's presentation? I know they're both different. I know it just depends on what content you want to cover, but ideally, just so we're not in a meeting and we're boring somebody with the pages.
Yeah. Okay, so remember, it's not your resume. It's not like, well, I sold this house and I sold this house and I've been in the business X number of years and blah, 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 blah. They don't care about any of that. Okay. All they want to hear is how you're going to cater to their specific needs. Right. So in terms of the presentation, like, I'm going to say things, I'm going to ask questions that it doesn't necessarily need a sheet of paper that has those questions on it. Right. So like, I have a guide that I'm going through, making sure I ask the right questions and record their answers. But what they're holding in their hand, that could be like 5-10 pages, right? It could be a slide or two about the market, a slide or two about the process, and maybe a little, you know, a page or two of testimonials. I mean, it could be super simple, right? Because most of the content of the meeting is, you know, what's most important to you about this process, right? How do we create a 10+ experience for you? Okay. How do I win with you? How do I lose with you? Let me explain the process. Do you have any questions, right? It's not like, okay, sit next to me. I've got a 165-page brochure here and we're going to go page by page. They're going to be like, peace out. I'm not listening to any of that. Okay. Okay. Pre-listing package. Do you have one? Is it updated? Right? My digital marketing strategy. So I put this on here because we live in a different time right now. We're trying to transact business in a different time. So do you think it would be an unreasonable question for a buyer, particularly a seller, to ask you how you will work, how you will sell their home online? Like, what do you do? Right? Do you do Facebook ads? Do you do retargeting? Do you cold call the neighbors? You know, what's your, it's a marketing strategy, but it's also with a digital um, kind of angle. Okay. So I'm not saying it needs to be something that's like in writing in front of them, that's all colorful, but you need to know how to communicate what you do. Okay. So you might have to spend some time on that. Okay. Now, as we're building our skills, I believe that your skills will greatly increase by having a role play partner. So my role play partner is blank, and we meet every blank. Okay, it's super simple. My real role play partner is Pam, and we meet at 8 o'clock every Monday, or every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. If you don't have a role play partner, just put it in the chat, and I'll help you find one. Okay. I'm gonna make a request for everybody. If you agree to be a role play partner, take it seriously. Don't blow off the meeting. Don't get on the phone and talk about what fire needs to be put out in your little transaction. This is designed to help you build your skills. This is, if you want to talk, about random stuff, pick a different time to do it. Okay. If you commit to somebody to be their role play partner, be real about it. Take it seriously. Okay. And if you don't take it seriously and you get fired, don't be pissed off. You deserve to be fired. Does that make sense? So if I've got a role play partner with Steve, and we meet at 8 o'clock, every day, and Steve blows me off the first day and he's like, oh, I'm tired, I slept late, you're fired. I'm here to build my business and I need a serious partner, you're fired. Okay. Am I being too harsh?
No,
Am I being too harsh?
not at all.
Okay, good. Okay, next. I will script practice every day right? So maybe you need to do some practice before your role play partner gets involved, right? So do you do that? Here's something I think that you should consider every single month. I will master the following new skill by. So maybe when you're doing your planning every month, which by the way, presupposes that you do planning and that you do it every month, okay? You might say, I'm gonna learn about short sales this month. And so this month, maybe I dedicate an hour a week to learning some new skill, or I'm going to learn about smart plans this month, or I'm going to learn about foreclosures this month, or I'm going to learn about, maybe a grant program, or, Georgia Dream, or something like that. What is there out there in the marketplace that if I were more familiar with it, I could be a better agent and a better asset and a better financial advisor to the people I have influence with, right? Are we purposefully getting smarter every single day? Make sense? All right, let me know you're there now. Everyone listening?
I'm
Yes.
still listening.
Yes.
Okay, good,
We're
good.
here.
Okay, now, by the way, remember what I said at the beginning. This is the most important stuff, okay? We got to spend at least half of our day getting smarter every day. What I mean by getting smarter is learning more about the market, seeing inventory, learning more about the contracts, understanding the nuances, right? Negotiation tips, learning and using the technology, right? What are the tools and systems and tech that I can use to get smarter every day? And the rest of your day needs to be spent going out into the marketplace and building relationships with people who you might want to help. Make sense? We can't pay your bills by class attendance. Okay. Next, database growth and tech integration. Okay. I will add blank people to my database every week. Okay. Now, it does depend on how big your database is, but even if it's huge, we're in the business of growth. So I'm going to make what I consider to be a fairly conservative request. Working as a full-time real estate agent, even a part-time real estate agent, you should be committed to growing your influence in your audience every day. I believe that adding 2 people to your database every day is completely reasonable. Does anyone disagree?
I think in the times of COVID, that's really hard because I'm a face-to-face person. I have a harder time on the phone with people that I don't know. Do you have any suggestions to help?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of things you could do. You could work to, take referrals from the people that you are in relationship with, that you could text with or, meet with face to face. And, we all were new on one day, right? And by the way, we're all new now. Like I have just as much experience as, well, let's assume you started the first day of COVID, Greta. We've got exactly the same amount of experience. Okay. All the stuff I learned, 6 years ago or 15 years ago or whatever, it's different now because we're dealing in a different environment. So you have just as much of a likelihood and an opportunity to take market share and build a business as I do, because these are all new circumstances for all of us. So my recommendation, if you really want to hear the honest truth, is to start experimenting with calling some people that you don't know. And even if you have no desire to do that long term, it's magical what it does to your mindset around initiating conversations with people. It's magical. Okay. Even if you can do it for like a week, you're not going to get hurt. You'll still be alive at the end of the week, I promise. Okay. We just got to try it, because it's like you're like one win away from having a totally different way of approaching that situation. Like I was talking to, I think Heather's on the call, right? Heather, you've called like a roughly 500 dials in the last 2 days, and you've already found 3 basically ready, willing, and able sellers. Is that correct? I saw she took herself off of mute. Are you there? All right, hopefully she'll come and confirm that in a second. Okay, so I will add blank number of people to my database every week. By the way, there's a mathematical equation that connects the number of people in your database to the number of units that you could expect to sell each year. And the research from Gary right now, it's wavered a little bit. In the past, I've been telling you 10 to 1. The research now is more like 16 to 1. So if you want to do 15 units, you just need a database of 240 people. But if you want 15 units and you got a database of 80 people, it's probably not going to happen. You're probably going to have to do something to grow that database. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, I want to give you a slightly different view of the database as well. Okay, just work with me. These numbers are not exactly perfect. Okay, if the average commission check is $10,000, which is conservative, okay, and the average, well, the math works really nicely at 10 to 1 rather than 16 to 1, but just work with me here, it's close. If I've got 100 people in my database and that yields 10 closings, and the average closing yields me 10 grand, then a 100-person database is worth $100,000 a year. Okay. So in Gary's world, 160 people in your database is worth $100,000 a year. So what that means is that every person in my database is worth $625 a year. So if you go look at a stranger and you say, if I can get this guy or this woman in my database and continue to deliver custom value to them over the next 12 months, it's like having $625 in the bank. You will likely have a different mindset around approaching strangers or having a willingness to communicate with strangers. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. That's my advice right there. Okay. I will speak to everyone in my database by December 31st. I didn't even put a blank there. I did that one for you. Okay. Take stock of who you're in relationship with. Let them know how grateful you are for the friendship, and see if there's anything you can do to help them. And if you have a natural conversation and ask them enough about their world, they will ask you about yours, to which you will respond by telling them how they can help you in your real estate goals for the next year. Okay. My complete database will be in command by blank. Just set a date. Okay. How many more days are we going to go on being a professional real estate agent without a full database that we're staring at all day, with some stuff here, some stuff there, some stuff there? I mean, come on, it's time to get serious. Okay. My database will have blank number of people by. So if I organize it all and I got 45 people in my database, yet the math says I need 250, let's get to work. Okay. So if I add 2 a day or 3 a day, when can I expect to have the database the size that it needs to be? March 1st, May 1st, September 1st? I don't care what it is, just commit to a day. Okay. I will have blank smart plans set up by blank. I will have blank handwritten notes written for the holidays, right? Markia, she's on, right? Markia is sending out like 150 something Thanksgiving cards and another like 150 Christmas cards, right? It's at bats, right? The more chaos you put out there, the more dust you'll ruffle up and the more opportunities will come your way. Okay. I want you to experiment with Facebook command ads, right? Who was it the other day that spent like 20 or 30 bucks and has like 31 leads? I'm trying to remember who that was. Anyway, we're getting leads for like $2.
Hey, Bill, it was me that
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah.
How much money
got
did you spend on that ad?
I think it was $80 for a listing lead, and I received 36 contacts off of it that went directly into my command contacts to start a smart plan.
That's the kind of work that's going to create opportunities. We basically spent the whole 15-minute session with Markia yesterday making sure I knew all the different people she was flirting with, and we still went over. I mean, your business is like, it's like a totally different business than it was 2 or 3 months ago. Isn't that right?
Definitely.
Beautiful. And I will have a daily social media schedule in place by, okay? I will have a daily social media schedule in place by December 10th. That means I am committing to doing the following behavior every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, whatever it is, whatever your schedule is. Just
Hey,
commit
Bill?
to it and do it. Yes.
I'm sorry. On the Facebook command ads, you know, that's my kryptonite. Is there like, how do I learn more? Just on YouTube or?
Yeah, that's the place that I would start. I will post, hang on, let me just make a note to remind myself to do this, and I will do the work for you. And I will send a couple of videos to the WhatsApp chat with some good tips on that. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. Post to WhatsApp. Okay, next. And I will update all my social media profiles by, okay? Like there's some realtors that don't have a picture on LinkedIn. Like, are you serious? There's some people that like have their glamour shot from 1993 on there. Like, are you serious? Like, there's some people that have their old broker on there. Like, come on, like people are gonna look you up. You see what I'm saying? We want to make sure they see what you want them to see. Okay, so that's the business side of this. Okay, however, if you don't have your house in order, you're not going to be able to bring your ideal self to your business. Okay, so I believe that this is important too. Okay, success outside of the business. Number one, the person who handles my business when I am away is. Okay, so when everyone knows I take Friday night off to Saturday night off. My phone's off. I'm not looking at the computer. I'm not looking at my phone. My message says, call Susan for that, call Melba for that, call Kathy for that, call Pam for that. Okay. And no one expects to hear from me. And that's the way I like it. Okay. And all the other times you can get me, but everyone needs some time off. Okay. So the person who handles my business is generally it's Pam. Okay, Pam knows every code word. She knows my blood type. She knows my birth weight. She knows everything. Okay, and I'm willing to relinquish that information because I am willing to trade my time for a little lack of privacy. Does that make sense? And I'm willing to trade my time for a lack of income, or I shouldn't say it that way, but I'm willing to allow somebody else to do something and compensate them for it so that I can not have to stress about it. Does that make sense? Okay, my primary health goal is, right? Who says that? Jay Papazan, I think he says, look, if I screw up my body, where am I going to go? Where am I going to live? Right? So my primary health goal is what? You need to lose weight, you need to gain weight, you need to, what's going on? Is everything okay with the body? Is it working? Is it limber? Right? What is my primary goal to learn? Do I have a primary family goal? Do I want to eat dinner with my family once a week or 5 times a week? Do I want to take my family to Disney World? Do I want to have breakfast with my kids? What is it? Okay, so let's first of all, let's get clarity on it. And then secondly, let's build a real estate plan around it that allows us to achieve all the things that are important to us. Okay, we find that when you share your goals, you have more accountability and they have a better shot of occurring. Okay, so who are you sharing your goals with? Okay, and lastly, this comes from the one thing. I will have a mentor in the 7 circles by. Okay, the 7 circles, according to the one thing, is spiritual life, physical life, personal life, key relationships, job, business, finance. Doesn't necessarily mean a human being, right? Like that you meet with periodically. It could be a podcast. It could be a priest, or it could be a friend that's really good with, finances, or it could be your insurance agent. It could be anyone. But what I know is that the more influential people and wise people that I've allowed into my inner circle, the better I am at basically every job I got. The better I am at being a father, the better I am at being a husband, the better I am at being a coach, the better I am at being a friend. You see what I'm saying? Does anyone have any questions about this?
I do. Of course, I always do. I will have a mentor in the 7 circles. Like, I'm a little confused on that. One per.
Yeah, like
I mean, like,
spiritual life. Spiritual life could be like
okay,
whatever that means to you. Like, I don't know, maybe that's your yoga teacher, or
right.
maybe that's your priest or something.
Okay.
Physical life. Like, I don't have a personal trainer at the gym, but I've got like a couple of people whose YouTube channels I like watching videos, like the kettlebell guy and the woman who like does the burpees, and this guy who does the chest stuff. Like, I've got like somebody that I pay attention to on YouTube and watch a video and work out with them. Right? It's kind of like my mentor, if you will.
Yes.
Who's accountable?
Perfect. Thank you.
If it's not an actual person.
Yeah, that's a great question. Ebony says, how does that hold you accountable? The truth is it doesn't. I mean, that's where some of this other stuff comes in, is sharing your goals with somebody, or having a business plan that makes you say, hey, I go to the gym 3 times a week. Okay, well, at the end of the week, did you go to the gym 3 times? Yes or no? And so if it's a stated goal, then you have to analyze whether you did it or not. And if you didn't do it, then you have this kind of moment where you say, look, is this still important to me?
Okay.
And if it's still important to you, you gotta go back to your calendar and try to make a tweak, right? Your personal life, that could be like a podcast that you listen to on marriage or on friendship or something like that. Key relationships, that could be a video on a podcaster on personal development or something, right? Your job, okay? Your job could be me. Your business could be me. Remember, job is like, remember how I've described like the worker bee versus the queen bee, right? So we are the inside sales, the outside sales, the sign runner, the contract to close, the listing manager, the transaction manager, the buyer's agent, the showing agent, the listing agent. All those are all the jobs you got as a realtor. That's what I would call your job. Business is the fact that you're also the CEO. And every once in a while, you gotta leave the worker bee job and go sit in the CEO seat and say, how's my worker bee doing? Does my worker bee have all the training and coaching and tech and tools and all this stuff to do their job? Or does my worker bee need a pep talk? Or does my worker bee need a new tool? Does that make sense? So do you have a business owner? I mean, I'm happy to serve in this role, right? To help you think like a business owner so that your role in your job can be efficient. And then what about your finances? Maybe it's a financial advisor. Maybe it's a insurance agent. Maybe it's your spouse. It could be anybody. Let's have some time where we evaluate our money, okay, and make sure that our money, number one, that we're constantly learning about money, okay, and number two, that we are efficient with it, right? I mean, I haven't seen this stat in a while, but I at one point heard that about 40% of Americans 50 years or older have net worths of less than $10,000. Okay, that's not even enough to put you in the ground. Okay, we have an opportunity, guys, to make as much money as we want. 75% of the country's wealth is tied up in real estate. You're a real estate agent, and you can make as much money as you want. We should have no financial trouble. Okay. You just got to do the work. Just got to do the work. So are you surrounding yourself with people that think the way that you need to think to get what you want? That's what leadership is all about. Leadership is helping you think the way you need to think so that you can get what you want when you want it. Has everyone ever heard that definition before?
A wise guy said it once. I knew his name was Bill.
I appreciate that. So we've run over a little bit, and I need to run to the leadership meeting. Don't forget, we've got a lot of one-on-ones today. So please take a minute to update your numbers before the one-on-one. For those that I'm not chatting with after today, I just want to take a moment to express my gratitude to you guys. I love coming in every day and seeing your faces, or at the least seeing your names, and hint, hint, right? And being a part of your journey. I love doing what I'm doing, and I'm super, super grateful for all of your partnerships. And I hope that you have a wonderful, safe holiday. No calls tomorrow or Friday. Remember, hey, it's God, family, and then business, right? Let's take advantage of these opportunities and take some time really to reflect on what's most important to you, because as we build towards 2021, we have the ability to dictate our time, right? To spend our time exactly the way we want to spend it. And so it's good to reflect on, what does that mean, right? Am I spending enough time with my family? Am I spending enough time with my church? Am I spending enough time with my peers, with my whoever, on my business? So it's not just about slinging homes, guys. It's about building a quality of life, right? So if we can get super clear on what we're trying to achieve, then we just simply have to build a business model around making enough money to make that happen. Make sense? All right. Thank you all for everything you do.
Thank you, Bill.
And I will see you all, except for those that I'm meeting today, Monday morning, bright and early, okay?
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks.
If you need me over the weekend, just let me know, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
care, guys.
Bill.
Bye-bye.